Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, best-selling author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Recently, we talked about my wife and myself tackling a once-in-a-lifetime project of building our dream home. And not just any dream home, but one referred to as a timber frame home. Hopefully, I was helpful in making a comparison between building a house to live in and the financial house that we have to live from. That's because regardless of whether you're taking on an oversized home building project or you're in the process of trying to get your financial house in order, the key to a successful outcome of any project is following what I call the 5 Ps: process, planning, products, people, and ultimately peace about what you're doing. You know what I've discovered over the past 36 years of helping thousands of savers worry less about money is that all 5 Ps are equally important, but one P seems to be not as important as the other. In fact, there's only one P that most people ever focus on in the financial world, and that's what we'll be talking about. And this P sure creates a lot of confusion among savers. Welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, financial house building specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And before we kick off our show today, let me introduce the producer of the Worry-Free Retirement, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. All right, so let's get back to these 5 Ps of a successful project and focus on the one and only P that the financial world seems to ever want to talk about. And you guessed it, it's products. And while I'm all about placing products inside your financial house and getting everything under one roof, the problem with only talking and focusing on products leaves the saver with no other options but to blindly trust in the product being sold to them. And boy, can it be confusing when considering the many different types of financial products one might invest in. In other words, whatever the financial world is selling is probably what you're going to be buying. Let's just look at a laundry list of some of these products that are options for people. Annuities, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, life insurance, long-term care insurance, final expense policies, Medicare supplements. What about real estate trusts, bank instruments, government bonds, gold, and silver? The list of financial tools that one might employ to construct their financial house goes on and on and on. So how do you know which product or products is best for you and your specific situation? Well, stay tuned as I share the secret to picking out the right product for the right project. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Of all the variety of wood builders might use in the construction of a home, pine, oak, maple, cedar, etc., the one type of wood strongly suggested in the construction of a timber frame home is actually a wood referred to as a Douglas fir. And since Douglas fir is not a native wood to Kentucky, and seeing as though we wanted the timbers for our home to be made from Douglas firs, this was the main reason we chose the company out of Canada to engineer, pre-cut, and deliver over 600 size sections of Douglas fir to our building site in Kentucky. Oh, I got to tell you a funny story. The company in Canada that supplied the plans and the products, the Douglas firs, asked me if I would like to have them send a technician to the building site to show the local contractors I had hired how to take these 600 numbered timbers and, of course, for a hefty fee, put all this stuff together. And yet, since I trusted this newfound friend in Canada and thought this might help the local contractors get off the job and get going more quickly, I agreed. So they mentioned, by the way, that their tech would be coming from Michigan, and of all things had a very strong German accent and was kind of difficult to understand. And boy, was I glad I took them up on their offer, because my tech friend from Michigan was a tremendous help. But anyway, so he shows up, and I've got a contractor, I'll call him Kenneth, who has a strong Southern accent. He's from Kentucky, and he meets this tech. So anyway, I show up at the job, and I look around, and I say, "Hey, Kenneth, where's that tech guy from Michigan?" And Kenneth says, "Well, he says he had to run to the hardware store." And I said, "What's he doing at the hardware store?" And Kenneth responds in a Southern accent with some German slipped in there. He says, "Well, he tells me he's got to find more sledgehammers." So the point of the story is, folks, with all the technologically advanced tools that Kenneth and the other contractors had on site, the one tool, the one product that they were unaware of that was needed to place all of these heavy timbers was a sledgehammer. And not just one sledgehammer, lots of them, which proves our point. When starting out on any project, yes, even the project of getting your financial house in order, you need to incorporate the 5 P's before ever starting. Problem is, since the financial world has to live on other people's money, they tend to skip the process of trying to figure out what works best for you and instead just quickly move straight to the sale of products. Regardless, here's the key, of whether the products really fit the bill. So let's review the 4 safest investments for savers and how we at Tony Walker Financial bring all of these under one roof. Here they are. First of all, we have bank instruments. The second safest investment that we offer are government bonds. Third would be insurance contracts. And then finally would be dividend-oriented ETFs. So the question then becomes, which of these products do savers include in their financial house, and how much money as a percent of their assets do they need to put in each of these products? So when I come back, I'm going to get the whiteboard out, and this is going to be very helpful. And I'm going to show you at Tony Walker Financial how a trained retirement planning specialist and fiduciary would look at those 4 products to help you determine which products are right for you. You stay tuned. Let me get the whiteboard out. I'll be right back.
If someone wants to roll their 401k over to you, is there a cost to that?
There is no cost whatsoever. So what happens is, the good thing is a 401k in most cases has no cost to roll it out. In other words, your current custodian, whoever's handling that, won't charge you to move it over. We handle all the details. When we put it in our products, there's no upfront cost. If we use annuities, they pay us a one-time commission, but those commissions are paid by the company. That doesn't come out of your pocket. That's built into the annuity itself. The Schwab program we use, we charge fees, but those fees are quarterly and they're charged what's called in arrears. So you would put the money in, you wouldn't get a fee charged until 3 months later. So there's absolutely no cost, no tax liability as long as it's done properly to move that 401k over to Tony Walker Financial. Taxes, fees, penalties, complicated government rules all add up to worry, confusion, and the loss of enjoyment of your hard-earned money. That's why I'm offering a free educational resource to help free you from the bondage of your 401k called 401k Rollovers Made Easy. If you're over the age of 59, retired, have a 401k at a previous employer, download 401k Rollovers Made Easy at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You know, one of the things I've noticed over the years, because we've worked with so many people in helping them with their 401ks and rolling those 401ks over to our worry-free retirement process, is most people really don't understand what's in the 401ks. It might be you've just blindly invested money after money after money, and maybe it's grown and all that, but you really don't understand what's in there. Then you get to retirement age or nearing retirement and you realize, hey, I can't take all this risk. The problem is the 401k sometimes doesn't offer the types of products that an independent fiduciary like Tony Walker Financial does. That's why so many people roll their 401ks over to us. Not only do we have the products, but we have the process, we have the planning, we have the people, we provide the peace of mind. I mean, it really is a great product of services that we have. Now, let me explain this process because this gets a little confusing. Obviously, we're talking about safe money, but I like to make sure people understand out of those 4 safest investments that we just talked about, bank instruments, insurance, contracting, government bonds, notice we've put those literally on the safe side. Why is that? Because they are literally backed by institutions. The banking industry has the banks and FDIC, insurance contracts, annuities and dividend participating whole life, etc. They have the backing of the insurance companies and some protection under state guarantees and statutes. And then government bonds are backed by the taxation and the laws the government can make. So these are fairly safe. And you might say, well, Tony, wait a minute. I thought you said these dividend ETFs were safe. Why did you put those over on the more risk side? Because quite frankly, this is less risky than investing in individual stocks. But folks, assuming those dividend ETFs have money in the stock market, which some of them do that we sell, they can go down in value. So I'm going to ask you a question. This is the type of planning process I go through. It's very simple, and maybe somebody could try to copy this. Another advisor could be watching the show and try to do this. The problem is most of them don't understand how to implement this and follow through over your lifetime. Remember, folks, retirement is not a one-shot deal. We're not here trying to sell you something and talk up a big game plan here and not be able to deliver. At Tony Walker Financial, I have personally overseen 4,000 written game plans. It's retirement through life. This is, again, not a one-time shot deal here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a question. You need to think through this, knowing that you could lose some money over here, all right, and knowing these will not make as much money, but they're protected. So there's the dilemma. How much would you put over here? Okay, now think about this. So if we could accomplish all your goals and objectives with just products over here that are safe and secure, you might say, well, wait a minute, Tony, I don't get this. If you could do everything for me over here, even if you didn't make me a lot of money, I think I'd rather be over here. So we would say 0%. Absolutely. We could put 100% of your money over here and forget the stock market. But you might be saying, well, Tony, I want some growth, or I don't mind some risk. Then I might ask, well, how much do you want over here? And you might say, well, Tony, how about if we put 20% over here? Can you do that? I'd say, absolutely. We have a portfolio that's designed for that. Could I put roughly 40% over here? Absolutely. See, folks, this is your money. There is no one-size-fits-all. At Tony Walker Financial, our job is to take our fiduciary responsibility and do what's in your best interest. That's why we represent so many different types of products, and that's why we lead with a plan, a process. Remember that example we used about all those different woods out there? Our house has a lot of different woods in it. It has pine, it has oak. We used even reclaimed barnwood for our floors, but we had to use Douglas firs for the structure of that timber frame home. The same thing goes into constructing your financial house. It takes somebody with the know-how to bring all those different types of products to bear and then to figure out which products are best for you. So this looks like something you'd like to look at personally to see how much you want on this side of the ledger and how much you want safe. All we got to do is meet at TonyWalkerFinancial.com and we can get started on this. Now, what I want to do in the essence of time, we're going to take a quick break. Aaron says, chop, chop, Tony. We don't have time. I'm going to use the magic whiteboard snap finger deal that we use to get this thing turned around. You ready? Here it goes. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to ask an important question. This was one I shared in the marketing meeting the other day, and it got everybody, and it's probably going to get you. All right, if you had a choice, all right, you're getting ready to retire, and let's say you got a 401k, all right? This is a fun little exercise. And you have a choice, all right? You could have a 401k. Remember, you're retired. We're assuming you don't know anything about money. You've been stockpiling money in your 401k. You have no game plan. So going into retirement, if you had a choice, what would you rather have? A 401k with $300,000 in it or a 401k with $500,000 in it? Now, folks, if we're being honest, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Tony, this has got to be a trick question. Well, obviously, I would rather have $500,000. And then the next question would be, why is that? Well, again, if you're being honest, and I would say the same thing, well, Tony, come on now, this is silly, because it's more money. That's $200,000 more money that I would have for retirement. And all of this is true, and all of this sounds good on the surface, but there's a problem with that. You see, the financial world has taught you, I think it's almost kind of a hoax, quite frankly, that in order to retire worry-free, you've got to have more and more money. Folks, this is why they don't want you taking any of that money back. They've put fear into your minds. They imagine you're going to live forever. We covered that article the other day where a financial guy is telling people you could go in a nursing home for the rest of your life. So you've got to have millions of dollars in long-term. I mean, this is nonsense. What they want to do is hang on to that money. You have to understand the rules of the game. So obviously, they're going to tell you need more and more money because it's all about products. Well, my question would be this, okay? Think about this. If you had to take more risk to get to the $500,000, which many of you might have, and maybe you're at the high point now. You know, we record this show on June 23rd, 2020, and the market's coming back up. And I've had several of you all do this. You come to me and you say, you know what, Tony, I lost all that money. Now it's kind of coming back up. I don't think I want to stay on this roller coaster, partner. And I would say, amen. So what you need is not, listen closely, this is where you need a retirement planning specialist. What you need sometimes is not more money or a different product. What you need is a plan. See, at Tony Walker Financial, we've been able to help people, I kid you not, we've been able to help people that have far less money than the financial world has told them they need. Even with this recent downturn, we shared a recent situation where a gentleman went to his wealth manager, and the wealth manager said, you can't retire, the market's down. Well, see, they're back to products. They're back to having this magic number, and that's not what a retirement planning specialist does. Folks, we're not money managers. We're not wealth managers. We're not trying to grow your money at all costs. We're trying to keep the money safe and allow you to use it at the least amount of cost. Big, big difference. So what I would say to this is, what if, and this is live well, die broke philosophy again, but what if we didn't have to take all that risk over the years and you had $300,000, okay, but I could still show you through planning, through expertise, how to use and enjoy that money without the fear of running out of it. But again, with less risk. So if the answer to that is, Tony, I think I'd rather go that direction. See, what you just did was you diagnosed yourself as a saver. Folks, there's three types of financial personalities out there. There's savers, investors, and speculators. Our job at Tony Walker Financial is to help savers worry less about money. We're looking for people that are more concerned about the return of their money than on it. If that sounds like you, take advantage of meeting with me in person. Now, what happens at this first meeting is we will sit down for about 30 minutes and go through what I call a vision exercise. You'll bring in all of your information to this meeting, and I'll go through everything. I'll make diligent notes, and then I'll have to maybe occasionally make copies of things. I'll look at your tax return. We have to understand taxes. I want to look at your investment statements to see what the financial world is charging you, to see if we can save you on fees. And then we schedule another appointment, generally about 2 weeks out. Now, at that second appointment, this is very exciting for most of the clients we meet because they've never seen anything like this before. You know, most people bring in shoe boxes, grocery bags full of stuff. They don't have anything organized. So for this first time in your life, most of you are going to see an organized, written game plan. It's called the WorryFree Retirement Income Software, and I think it's the best on the market. The reason I know that is I've created it and shared it with over 4,000 people. Then, here's the best part, you get to take that binder with you. You take it home, you review it, you study it. We want to make sure you understand it. You can contact me again and set up another appointment to go over everything before you make a final decision. And do you have to move everything over to Tony Walker Financial? Absolutely not, folks. This is not a everything has to come to us. We want you to be satisfied with our services. We feel that over time you'll probably move more and more of your money over to us once you see how well we treat you and your money. So give us an opportunity to at least look at your situation, second opinion, no cost or obligation. Log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Well, what does the Bible have to say about money? And what does the richest man that ever walked the face of the earth have to say about the 5 Ps? When I come back, we're going to find out. Good stuff coming your way. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. Welcome to our Employee Spotlight, and today's feature will be Miss Heather Hughes, our fiduciary in the Bowling Green office. First of all, Heather, thank you for making the drive with JJ up to our Louisville studios today from Bowling Green.
Glad to do it today.
So briefly, tell the audience a little bit about how you got started at Tony Walker Financial, how long you've been with us, and your role there from doing an income planning specialist role all the way down to the fiduciary.
Oh, sure. Well, joined the firm back in 2006. Hard to believe it's been that long. Started off just helping you kind of develop game plans on the earliest levels. Since then, we went from Excel spreadsheets and building out our own
big
proprietary
accordion. Remember the big accordion spreadsheets?
Yeah. Long sheets of paper. Then developing that proprietary software that we've come to love so much, and it's so helpful for clients. Since then, you know, as I learned the business, it really became a passion of mine, and ended up becoming a fiduciary just like you.
And you're that person at the office that's there full time, which is so helpful to us, because many times I'm with clients quite a bit. But tell people the, I guess, surprise they have when we respond so quickly to their questions and the ability to call up the game plan and react to their needs as they change in retirement.
Sure, that's one of the benefits, I think, of having me in the office full time. I know you're meeting with a lot of clients up here in Louisville. When you're in a meeting, you're of course not readily available. They can usually reach me with just a quick phone call. So if they have any questions, especially existing clients, I'm happy to answer those for them, pull up their game plan. If there are any changes we need to make, we're happy to do that. Or if they're even needing to make some decisions, I can help with that.
Well, Heather, obviously I appreciate your work so much at Tony Walker Financial. You've been a great asset, and we look forward to helping many more savers. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
Tired of the roller coaster ride of the stock market? Let Tony Walker show you how to smooth out the ride with your money. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
Well, you may have noticed at the last segment there that I didn't have to get any more coffee. That's because we ordered these handy dandy mugs, more like a soup mug or something. Live Well, Die Broke coffee mugs. Boy, that's a doozy. It holds a lot of coffee, folks. Well, we've had some fun talking about a tool that is not used too much, and it's called a sledgehammer. Yet, as uncommon as this tool really is, it was much needed in constructing our timber frame home. Yet, it would be foolish to assume that a sledgehammer would be the answer for all of life's great building projects. Yet, when it comes to our lives, the world tries to convince us that all we need to solve all of life's problems is, guess what? More money. You know, to be happy, you simply need more money. Well, you know what? The richest man who ever walked the face of the earth was King Solomon, and he discovered this all too well. Solomon is described in the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes, basically spent his entire life accumulating all the good pleasures money could buy, but in the end, what he discovered was that all of this accumulation of wealth was what he called vanity, or in vain. As well, I arrived at this same conclusion, and that's why I wrote my recent book, Live Well, Die Broke. That is, you really can't take this stuff with you. So why in the world do you worry so much about something that you can't take? But yet, that's what he warned us about. In fact, look at Ecclesiastes 10:19. The last part of that verse is really interesting, and tell me if this doesn't describe what everybody seems to say nowadays. Regardless of the problem, the answer, the hammer, is always more money. If only Solomon had followed the 5 P's we discussed, instead of focusing just on the 1 P, products and money, more specifically, possessions. You know what Solomon, I think, is reminding you and I of today is that everything that money can buy, in the end, none of it really adds up to much. Whether you got $50,000 or $500,000, it doesn't matter. In the end, we all die broke. However, wisdom such as this truly does fly in the face of the financial world, who keeps preaching to you the same message over and over. And what's that? You got to save, and you got to save, and you got to save. And all the while, they never give you a plan to spend and enjoy this money. So why do they constantly preach such a goofy message? Because they know If you start taking that money back from them and actually start using and enjoying it, that means less money for them to make money on your money. There's a reason they don't want you to take on the Tony Walker philosophy of live well, die broke, and that's because it means less money for them, which is why we decide to move your products and money into different spaces and figure out a game plan to get it back to you. This is good for you, maybe not so good for them. So you ask, Tony, what is the solution then? How can I strike a balance between using and enjoying my money, but also without the fear of running out of it? Well, that's where we at Tony Walker Financial come in. Our well-trained staff of fiduciaries and service experts, coupled with my personal 36 years in the financial trenches, listen folks, in meeting with over 15,000 savers in person, allows us to help you get your financial house in order by bringing everything under one roof so that you get organized and, most importantly, so that you know how to best use and enjoy your money while you still can. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in talking about more, well, let's visit. We can do so at absolutely no cost to you, and we can do this in one of three ways. First of all, we can start with about a 10-minute phone call just to get acclimated to what you're doing and how we can help. We can do a video chat, or better yet, if you're retired or thinking of retiring soon, or maybe you got an old 401k sitting out there you'd like to talk about, why don't we schedule a no-obligation appointment for 30 minutes for you and I to meet face-to-face to go over everything, and we can do this conveniently at a location for you. We could either meet in Bowling Green, Louisville, or our Lexington, Kentucky offices. Your choice. So to get started, all you got to do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on our confidential button, the Let's Get Started. That'll go directly to our office, and we will contact you to see what's most convenient for you to talk about your situation. TonyWalkerFinancial.com, let's get started, or give us a call at 877-499-9255. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Next week, actually, we thought this was an important program, but as discussing in our marketing meeting the other day, really what I'm going to do next week is very interesting. We're going to talk about the process. How do you set up a process to use and enjoy your money without the fear of running out? And why do so many in the financial world why do they not understand this concept of process? Good stuff coming your way next week. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.